and they had 300, 400 horsemen coming from here and 150 from there, and some guys there, and he says, and Jay Lee says, now is everybody ready? Yeah. And he says, now don't worry. He says, I got a first assist in there, a second assist in there, a third assist in there, and I'm not even gonna, he says, the radios are going to screw it up. He says, no, not using radios, I've got this flag, see? And everything is by signal. And he says, they're mounted right now, and I've rehearsed them. We've been out here for 8 hours. And, you know, these poor people were out on those horses for hours. And he says, all I have to do is drop this flag, and they're going to roll the cameras! Roll the cameras! They all were standing there with their tea.
He's into his 4th month on location. The film is Fiddler on the Roof. What Jewison required for Fiddler, he could find only in Yugoslavia. The right climate, the right landscape, the old world look of the people.
Roll the camera.
Hit the fans! Kill him! Action! Come on. Son of a bitch! Cut! What the hell's the matter with those people? What the hell is the matter with them? And a beautiful shot of the geese going and everything else. God damn it. Oh, if they'd taken off, if they got them back in here, it would have been beautiful. Shit. Yeah, but you got 4 actors standing there in the middle of the road trying to stop the geese instead of... What the hell is the matter with them?
He's behind schedule. The weather won't cooperate. He needs snow and cloudy skies. There was snow and cloudy skies when he chose the location a year ago at this time.
Start the wind machines.
Action!
The film's being made at a time when the movie industry is in serious trouble. Money is tight. Fiddler is perhaps the only big-budget film in production at this time.
Cut! Cut!
Ready, and...
Action! Cut! Boy, I tell you, there's a group there that hate the other group. They put 2 groups together. That's the problem. All right, one more, and then we'll do one without the geese. Action! Cut! Getting to be like Hollywood geese. They're all trained. Action! My last picture was hardly what you would call a success. Gaily didn't do well at the box office. Didn't do bad in Europe, where it was called Chicago. If Fiddler doesn't make it, well, maybe there's still that television spot back in Toronto. All right, print that one too, please. How was that? How long was that? 17 seconds, good. Print that one. You know that we've been making this film, and there's peasants, hundreds of peasants living around here. They look at us like this as they go by. And they keep going. If I was making this picture in New York City, I have 10,000 people standing here watching, gawking for hours, you know? And here, people have never seen a camera, never seen a crane, never seen a mic boom, never seen a Hollywood movie coming. And they give us one look, and then they go on, take their car. They have work to do. They're too, independent. Yeah, all right, so they're making a movie. They'll come and watch us after their work is done. And they stand there and they have a few shots of Slivovitz. Don't know quite what's going on, but lovely people. Yeah, we have all Yugoslavian electricians, all Yugoslavian grips, drivers. We only have 11 Americans, about 18 British.
A lot of Canadians.
A few Canadian actors. A few hanging around on every picture.
Canadians like it.
You hope the Canadians like it. I hope the Gentiles like it. That's right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
clearing the street? We need Molly, Norma.
Molly, dear. Come on, love. All right, rehearsal. Hold the hammering, please.
Quiet, boys.
Action, please.
After all, what have we got here?
A little bit of this.
No, cut. No, Norma, I don't want it. Don't want it with both hands. And not straight down here. You're doing a little bit of this, and she's walking out. I wanted you to get away from her so it doesn't look like you're talking to her and she's walking away from you, which she wouldn't do. Can we do it once more, please? Playback.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a pot, a brew, a hat.
Cut! I missed Shimon. All right, relax for a moment, please. If they get a heavy snow, you don't get out of Zagreb, for God's sake. We need the first light snow,
Yeah.
which I'm hoping we'll get. You know, just a very light November snow. So we can't snow in fields. It's bad enough that we're, you know, getting away with this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to keep coming in. There's plenty of cloud.
It's been head on.
Son of a bitch, did you ever see
What's the state now?
14 days of sun? Look at this, November 18th. Look at that sun. Can we go? Let's go. Go quickly, please.
Go.
Buco, tišina tamo dole. Ponovno snimamo, prekini sav posao. Čujemo. Prekini tamo.
Let's go. Let's not have any inquest. Let's just do it again. Fighting the sun, boys.
Now we're rolling.
627, take one.
Quiet. Chicken. Action.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a pot,
A brew, a hat. Someone should have set a match to this place years ago.
A bench.
A tree
What's a stove?
or a house. People who pass through Anatevka don't even know they've been here.
a stick of wood, a piece of cloth.
What do we leave? Nothing much.
Look.
Only Anatevka.
We got space between Molly and her. And laser.
Underfed, overworked.
I think what Fiddler has going for it is exactly what it had going for it in the theater. The humor, the bitter irony, some exciting performances. It's a film about the breaking down of traditions which applies to all cultures in every country. On top of that, it's a well-known score. The songs are well-known. Cut! All right, how was that for the opening?
Good.
All right. Print that one, too. Now stay where you are, and we'll take it from the top of the chorus. Give me start mark 3. What have we here? Nothing much. Okay. What do we leave, at least? What do we leave? Nothing much.
What do we leave? Nothing much. Only Anatevka. Underfed, overworked. Anatevka. Whereas could Sabbath be so sweet? Intimate, obstinate, Anatevka, where I know everyone I meet. Soon I'll be a stranger in a strange new place.
Some of these people as they moved and were forced to move from their homes where they had lived for 300-400 years. Many of them ended up in the ovens at Buchenwald, in Dachau, and Auschwitz. Not all of them got to America or Canada. Not all of them got to Israel. They moved all across Europe and lived out their lives until such time as again they were persecuted.
Cut.
It was quite possible. I was worried about it, but I found it was quite possible for me to identify with Tevye and to identify with the Jewish religion. The more I studied it and the more I exposed myself to Jewish homes, more Orthodox homes. I spent quite a bit of time in Jerusalem, and I identify, I think, with certain aspects of the Jewish religion. I find it a very personal religion, and any deep feelings I have at all about God and about my own religion are very personal.
Flare, that's the full flare. MIDI.
And look at this with the elephant tusk buttons.
Then lend me your jacket.
I mean, if you like some grey ones, I go
Also, in the Exodus, do you want the big black shawl over there?
Yes, yes,
Right
I
at the
do.
end, you
Yes,
do.
yep, yep. I want something over this again.
No,
And the big black shawl makes you look older.
Yes, it does.
For some reason, believe it or not, it makes you look younger.
See, I have a tendency to look very chic.
All right, we'll let us. What I'll do is I'll do this, and then I'll do an angle here. As producer-director, I have complete artistic control over Fiddler, up to the stage that I go over my budget. In other words, the only responsibility they're interested in me keeping is the responsibility for money. Therefore, as long as I can bring the picture in fairly close to the budget, they have no complaints. The moment I go over budget, they have a wedge. They can apply pressure. Outside of that, they don't have any control. Right now, I'm going to have all the say. Whether I end up with all the say, whether I end up making concessions, that's another story. But going in, you go in, I believe, and always have believed, you go in like a lion. And you go in with all the courage and conviction that everything that you have to do is right. And unless you go in with that kind of confidence, even if it isn't right, they aren't going to make it right. If the film doesn't work, the film doesn't work. I mean, they aren't going to fix it. They aren't going to make it better. I've never seen a distributor, an exhibitor, or anybody else, or a committee, a head of a studio, ever improve on a film. They never improve on the film. Only creative people can improve on a film. Maybe that's why we always wear our hats. I mean, it's a discovery. I'm putting discovery in the middle of the line instead of before the line, so that it doesn't sound so pat. So it doesn't sound like you're walking in with a joke. Maybe that's why we always wear our hats. I mean, you've thought of it before you come in. I usually have an idea of how I want to approach the scene and try to maneuver the people into it without them ever knowing that it was preconceived. The more that you can make an actor feel that it is all his ideas, the better performance you usually get, because then he has the thrill of actually feeling that he's making a very strong creative contribution to the film, which he is.
As the good book says, each shall seek his own kind. In other words, a bird may love a fish, but where would they build a home together?
The world is changing, Papa!
No, Chavale.
From the very beginning, I always felt that Tevye should be played by a European actor. And then when I found that Topol was appearing in Fiddler in London, I flew to London to see his performance. And I ended up with the realization there wasn't anyone in the world to play this role but Chaim Topol.
Don't you understand what that means, marrying outside of the faith?
But But, Papa!
No! I said no! Never mention his name again. Never talk about it again. Never see him again. Never. Do you understand me?
Yes, Papa. I understand you.
We looked all over Zagreb for our locations. It's quite a large city, as you know, and it has two faces, really. It has a modern face, the buildings of today and so on, as opposed to the older part of town, which dates back some 400 or 500 years. Most of the buildings that I was more interested in photographing was the older part. And so we found the square up near the university. Of course, it had to be at winter time, and we did have one big problem of waiting for snow. I found that if you used marble dust very lightly, didn't try to make it look like there was a heavy snow, I think it's fairly successful in the film because we only shot on days where the sky was darker than the snow itself, which really gives you an indication of winter. Still feel they're holding back from them. And everybody move in about another 2-3 feet. Are these people all in their positions? Yes. Tell them to look the other way. All right. Well, who told me that they thought that this is going to be too many people? Boy, I tell you, we could use another 50. Got nobody to move. All right, now. I was thinking of doing 2 angles. Yeah, take a look at the 75. Tell the boys just to draw their sabers, will you? Sit up straight. Now, hold them a little bit higher. Oh! Okay, now, if they can, you see the way that man is turning his? See how it shines? Want to get a little shine on him. Good, good, good. Dobro, dobro, dobro. Just like that, yeah, because I got them chromed at great expense to the management. All right. Now the other 2 cameras are set. Quiet those people down up there.
Hi, Jim. Roll 3 cameras. 67, take 4.
Action! Get out, get out! Go, go, out of the shot. Good.
David, not the Nesta.
Anybody hurt?
Thank you.
Nobody hurt down there? Terry? Good take.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. The horse went right over Danny, right?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the guy,
Jimmy, how was it? Huh?
Basic movement was all right, but the sword play in there was
The
very bad.
sword play was bad, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, really, all they need is just one swipe, and you know, the natural instinct on the downward movement, you're gone, aren't you? That's really all it needs. But there was.
What were they doing? All cowering up against the wall, and he was missing them.
Yeah, you know, and he's one flick. Really.
Yeah. Action! Good. You all right, Mike? You all right? Gee, that was a hell of a fall. It's a very good fall. Very good fall. Attaboy, you got that one. All right, print that one, please. Dobro, dobro. Unbelievable, isn't it? Cincinnati Kid, I had 10% of the profits, and they announced 3 months after the picture was released, Cincinnati Kid has made his negative cost back in 3 months. And it's been running, you know, we found it's been running in Amsterdam for 62 weeks. In one theater, it's running for over a year. You know, and it did well all over, let's face it. They got an enormous amount for it for television, and then they have the nerve to send me a statement saying, Jesus, you know, the picture actually lost money. I mean, we haven't really, you know, with the cost, the advertising cost, and thinking, I've never seen a statement like this one. It was like a child wrote it out to you. You know, it's got, you know, things like miscellaneous foreign shipping charges and stuff, and there's this enormous amount of money. $1.5 million or something, and it says, see breakdown, page 8. And you turn to breakdown 85, and it's got voucher statements, cockamamie voucher statements.
Sounds like the wildest expense.
It's like a child would write it out. It's just, but then you can't blame the company. The company's going under.
Yeah,
how can it afford to pay profits?
They shouldn't ask you to pay it, though.
No, but they assume they still run the companies in the old way, that everyone works for the company. They're still running, it's the old philosophy. The independent filmmaker will never get a break until he starts to make his own deals in distribution. And I'm telling you, that's coming. There's going to be the whole thing is changing. I guess if it wasn't for those Universal Pictures, I guess it was a marvelous training ground for me, the same as CBC was a marvelous training ground for me in Canada before I went to CBS in New York. One couldn't be without the other. That's why I owe a great deal, I guess, to Tony Curtis and people at Universal. It was just that I still don't agree with the system, because they would close my office. They'd do things like that, you know, try and get you off the lot. Once the director had finished the film, in the old days in Hollywood, and there was still enough of that prevailing, those kind of conditions prevailing, the producer took over, the studio took over, and the director, they'd say, goodbye, thank you very much. And when you wanted to stay and say, wait a minute, I want to work on the editing, and I want to work on the music, and I don't think this is right, and I don't think that, and you were just a pain in the neck to them. I didn't have control. You must have control. You must be able to say, I want to go over here, I want to go over there, I don't want to hire him just because you've got him under contract. Doesn't mean he's not even right for the part. Why should we put that actor in the film? Oh, you have him under contract. That's why. So everything is a compromise. And finally, you're compromised out of the film business, as Hollywood has compromised itself out of the film business today. And what has happened to Hollywood today is not just economics. They have destroyed themselves. A thing can only feed on itself for so long. From the time when I did The Russians Are Coming, everyone left me alone, completely alone. It was my first film for United Artists and Mirisch, and all of my pictures since then have been for United Artists and Mirisch, because they have given me the most freedom that any company could give me. They really have been quite marvelous. And that was the philosophy at UA and the philosophy of Harold Mirisch. And that was why I think United Artists really became very successful. I was convinced that we could make a film about the absurdity of international conflict and the absurdity of the Cold War and the absurdity of people being suspicious and frightened of one another because they had hung labels on each other.
Very clever, little boy. Very, very clever to see that my friend and I are foreigners here, but of course not the Russians, naturally. What would the Russians be doing on the United States of America Island? With so many animosities and hatreds between these two countries, it is too funny an idea, is it not? No, we are, of course, Norwegians.
Norwegians?
We got 5 Academy Award nominations. But more important than that, you know, that's not really important. The Academy Award's only important when you win it.
In the meanwhile, you just killed yourself a white man, just about the most important white man we got around here, and picked yourself up $200.
I earned that money 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Colored can't earn that kind of money, boy. Hell, that's more than I make in a month. Now, where did you earn it?
Philadelphia.
Mississippi?
Pennsylvania.
That's just what you do up there in little old Pennsylvania, earn that kind of money.
I'm a police officer.
Rod is probably the strongest actor I've ever worked with. There were times when he got too big and Sidney came to me and asked me if I was going to speak to him, but only at the beginning of the film. Because after the beginning of the film, I spoke to him. And I explained to him that I felt how difficult it was at times for directors to work with actors who didn't need a director. And I gave 3 instances in my life, and he says, gosh, isn't that awful if people would behave like that? And so the reverse psychology sometimes works well. But Rod and I grew to like each other very much. As a matter of fact, Rod Steiger never looked at the rushes, and I felt he gave one of his more controlled performances in Heat of the Night.
Do you know what I'm going to do, Virgil? I'm going to take you over to Brownsville and put you on the bus myself.
You aren't taking me anywhere, you dig? You're holding the wrong man.
What do you mean I'm holding the wrong man? I got the motive, which is money, and the body, which is dead.
What makes you so sure?
Why do you doubt it?
I was very pleased and thrilled and excited that we won the Best Picture of the Year. And I was extremely pleased, and even more pleased, I guess, with Rod Steiger, because Rod Steiger wanted to win the Academy Award. Thomas Crown was a little bit more difficult, because Faye Dunaway is very strong, and Steve McQueen is very insecure. And he's also very strong.
Do you play?
Try me.
He's a tough cat to work with. I can honestly say that he's the most difficult actor I've ever worked with. At the same time, the 2 pictures I've done with him have been good pictures. I think his performance has been excellent in both of them. And Steve and I are very close personal friends, but he's put me through some pretty tough scenes. By finding out your weak point, that he knows you're insecure about that scene or you're not too sure about your setup, and that's when he hits you and he bores in until you don't know what you're doing. It's games people play. Steve is only interested in what he calls the juice, the power, the guy who's got the power, the head honcho, as he calls him. I don't know what he's saying half the time, he's so hip.
Keep your face clean. This is your close-up.
He was on his way to the glue factory with about 12, 15 horses, and I went down, and it was a very sad day because I realized the horse I didn't choose, they would all be killed.
It's your big shot.
I went back to the hotel. I wept. I was so moved by all these poor old horses that have worked hard all their life, and I felt, Jesus, at least someone should take care of somebody. But anyway, I chose a horse for Tevye.
Well, my old friend, it's time to say goodbye. The farmer Bushenko will be coming for you later. Take care of your leg, huh?
He was very gentle. He would follow him. He's a marvelous animal, and I'm very pleased with what I got out of him. And I'm going to make sure he's taken care of for the rest of his life, even if I have to bring him to England.
Mark it.
661, take 3.
Bum, 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 bum. He stops. Action. I'm not interested technically in the making of films. I'm interested emotionally. I'm only interested in it technically as to what it can do to the picture, the scene, or the audience. There's many directors know far more than I do, because I've only made 9 films. This is my 10th. I'm not an intellectual filmmaker. I'm not a cerebral filmmaker. I make emotional films, and I want my audience to become emotionally involved in what I do.
Sunrise, sunset. Sunrise, sunset, swiftly flow the day. Sea wings turn overnight to sun clouds, blossoming even as we gaze. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset, swiftly fly the years.
How did you feel when the sun did come out?
I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken because, you know, they've told me that I can't wait for snow. They've told me, you know, I must finish the picture and shoot because I'm over budget and, you know, shoot the goddamn scene at night, you know. And you can hardly blame them because the industry's flattening its ass, and here's $9 million going out the door. It's a lot of money, and they're feeling it. They're feeling it. So they say, what the hell's he doing over there? He's over budget. He's waiting for snow. And then the rumors start building. Then they think I'm just sitting waiting for snow, you know. And then they get incensed, and they get annoyed. They say, oh, this Jewison's being cavalier. That's the word they used. The last time they asked me not to be so cavalier in London. And I said if they felt I was being too cavalier, why they better go get...
How has Yugoslavia been? Have you been pleased?
Oh, yeah. Love the country. Love it. And I would like to shoot here again. Could we have Tootie on the roof? Dick? Tell Tootie to get up on the roof. It's been... It's probably been as pleasant a location as I've ever experienced. There's something about it. Maybe it's because it reminds me of Canada a little bit, I don't know. Maybe it's the people, simplicity. I like their form of, even their form of communism, although the individual isn't as important here as I think he should be. And that must be, it's terribly frustrating for them. But even their form of communism seems to work for them. There is a spirit among the people of thinking together. And Tito is very popular, very popular. And there's no feeling of pressure here. And I don't know, life is just so simple. It's so refreshing.
Playback.
I'm over 2 weeks behind schedule, which isn't bad on a picture that's been shooting for 106 days. To some directors, it'd be nothing. To me, because my hang-ups are responsibilities. I feel responsible to everyone, which is very Canadian. And it's something I've been trying to get rid of. I don't know why we're so full of guilt. I don't know why we just aren't looser. But anyway, I am over $300,000 over budget.
Together.
There's been a certain amount of pressure, but so far it's only developed into one screaming phone call, and they insisted I shoot the Huddle farewell scene when she goes to Siberia and Tevye takes the railway station. They insisted I shoot that regardless of the weather in Yugoslavia, but I refused and came back to London. So we still don't have the scene, and now we're at an impasse. So they'll try to talk me out of it, I'm sure, but I think if the film is good and they're in this far, and I've just got to hang in there, that's all. It's going to be tough because I've never been this far over budget. And so it's difficult for me to discuss it with people who can point to me and say, but you're behind.
Okay. One more, please.
Let me see. Laser has everything in the world except a bride.
That's all.
Except a bride. Instead of accept a bride. You know what I mean? Laser has everything in the world.
I know,
except a bride.
Laser has everything in the world except the bride.
No, put your powers in. I was an actor myself, and that's helped me a great deal in my relationship with actors and the way I work with them. But I don't think a director's ego should ever get in the way. There are times when I'm very explicit, and when I get tired, I get very explicit.
All right. Easy. We only do 4 bars, and he jumps in. All right, are you ready? Quiet, I'm going to sing a little song.
And now I'm going to sing a little song.
Give him the note.
You can keep your diseased chicken!
You leave my diseased chickens out of there! Chickens out of there! Hold it. That's how fast it's gonna be. That's how fast it's gotta be. There's a hole, you can drive a truck through there. Because both of you are like two fighting cocks. And the moment he says, you can keep your disease, you can leave my disease. And maybe it'd be funny if you even get mixed up and use the word disease. You can leave my diseased chickens out of this. God damn. In other words, you can't, there's no pause. We're starting it all over again. We're doing a reprise, fellas. We haven't got time. Got to pick up these cues. Jesus. How many times we have to rehearse this? All right. We all heard the words of the rabbi, and everyone waited. Let's sit down. All right.
And now I'm going to sing a little song.
You can keep your diseased chickens!
You keep my diseased chickens out of there!
Go! But the terms weren't settled.
Back at it!
I saw them!
What's your line? But the terms, we drank at it, but the terms weren't settled. The thing, once a butcher, always a butcher. Zap, zap, zap.
You can keep your diseased chickens!
You leave my chickens out of this! We made a bargain!
But the terms weren't settled.
We drank on it!
Terms weren't settled. Once a butcher, always a butcher.
Once a always
You don't just sit down.
Cut. All right, hold it there. Hold it there just for a second. Good. All right, print that one, please. Good one. All right. 2 and 4.
2 and 4, please.
I know I'm tired now, physically and emotionally, and I'll admit it. And I've got another 6 weeks to go. And I'd love to be able to quit right now. And I'm sure Chaim Topol is tired. The actors are tired. The cameraman is exhausted. We've had a long, long, arduous location. It'd be nice if we could just all take a couple of weeks off, think about what we've done, and I know that the next 6 weeks will be better film. I know that. Morning, Shimon. How are you this morning? Good.
A friend here who started with you.
Sir Miles.
Yes, Sir Miles. That's where we met.
Good to see you.
You look good. Still has the same amount of hair, God.
I try to keep it fair at this one.
Yeah, he always kept it that. And when he was a kid, he always really had that little officer look about him. He scared the shit out of me.
You know what he did? You know what he did? He took me on the set for my first film. He gave me my first shot. And he took me the day I came in. I looked like a newspaper boy. And he took me by the hand. The first day he says, come here, come here. And he took me like this. And it was like that, you know? And he takes me like this, and he brings me on the set, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet the director. and he treated me like a child. All day long. It was...
I said, come here. This is the...
this is the light?
This is a camera.
He says, you look through there. And I told him. I didn't know anything about film, and I was lost. I was like a child.
Listen, how you fellas been doing?
I've been going 1.5 years. It's a way of life now. We'll never finish the picture.
Yeah, never.
It's a
We
way
don't
of
want
life.
to finish.
It's a way of life.
Yes, excuse me.
Oh, all right. You want to do a guest shot? You want to put a black coat on and do a guest shot? Right, then they go around.
Now, you see, it would be nice to...
What if we just went opposite? They're going this way.
Yes.
And if we just slowly, we follow, let's say, 2 or 3 boys that go out this way. We follow them around with a handheld this way. Then they come back into us this way.
Yes.
Now they're tight to us. Now they start that way, and we go this way, and all you would get is just...
That's right, yes. No, that would be fine.
Such
Fine.
excitement, even if it's only good for...
Phil Morgan, Jim Bray. Boys taking positions.
And at that point, when they're leaving in great despair, again it happens. Yum, bum, 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 bum. And he turns and he looks, and there's the fiddler, standing all alone. He says, "You gonna forget me? Are you gonna leave me behind? Are you gonna leave your spirit behind?" So essentially, the fiddler is the spirit of the Jewish people. Whatever that is, whatever that means. It's magic. He doesn't really exist, and so the more you become involved in the story, the more he will mean. Or perhaps it's not very much. Maybe it's just a spirit that keeps moving around. I don't know.
I haven't done too many films. I've done up to now only 10 films, but he's really the first director that I work with, and I have the feeling that he deserves the title because he knows, I don't know, 100 times more than I do. And it's a pleasure to work with such a man, because you really feel that he knows what he wants, he knows how to get it, he knows what the results will be. Somehow he gives everyone the feeling that it's his idea. I mean, the actor's idea how to do it, and that's marvelous. Although if you check it carefully, he really feeds you the ideas with little remarks, with smiles, with very little talk. He'll let him come to what actually Norman wants to happen. No doubt that Norman has done his homework. I think that he knows about Judaism today more than I do.
Is there any truth to the rumor that you're trying to convert him?
Well, we have a joke about it, that he's going to convert into Judaism and call him and change his name to Norman Christensen.
All right. Can we do one now, please?
Put it 300-foot candles at 5, 6.
Every time I do a rehearsal for the camera, without music to mark it, I never have people here. All of a sudden, Marika, everybody comes in who never rehearse. Where the hell are they? I don't know why when we rehearse I can't get my people. Now, when they go back, instead of standing here, could you move a little bit so that you're talking? You know when all this stuff is happening down there?
The mums dancing.
Marika, when all this stuff is happening down there, darling, move a little bit more over here.
Yes.
To talk over here.
Yes.
Just for this, maybe another foot, rather than blocking the whole frame, you see.
Okay, yes.
Here's the camera here.
Yes.
How's that?
Well, that's fine.
All right. Let's just rehearse this once again.
Stand by on the playback.
Yeah, you know, it just stops too soon. People should be still moving around. I almost got it. Listen, well, he always did.
Let it gradually.
It needs, and this gets, you come and you stop too soon, I think. Everybody's excited. And really, when they're scrambling for the bottle, it should be wild. Hey! Jesus, will you watch me? All right. No. And close up this line, please. There was only 2 people. Close it up. Closer together. Okay, now don't separate, boys. Move a little bit more to your right. Move. All right.
Attitudes, attitudes. Lots of faces now. Keep it Jewish. Playback.
Push in! Push in!
All right, now, as they... Who are the two boys that go to the table?
Right here. Hold it down, people.
Split just as they dump those bottles. Just as the bottles come down off their head, as they're going to step forward, the camera's going to come in. As it comes in, shoot to your right.
It was going so well. Up in the air.
No, I think, but I know you'll be disappointed if you do one with a bottle falling. Because they can do it again. They're all strong. They're all strong.
Maybe Steve McQueen's right. Maybe it's all gets down to power and juice. I don't know. But I've never felt that I wanted power. The only thing I've ever felt is I wanted something very definite to say about the programs that I directed. And I don't think that's asking too much. That's what you're hired to do. Because there's no sense doing anything you're not going to be happy with. There's no sense entering a relationship. When I become involved in something, I go to bed with it. It's my love. It means more to me than anything in the world. Anything. When I commit myself to something, I want to commit my mind and my body and my spirit and every ounce of energy and effort I have to make it successful, to make it work, to make it somehow materialize into something that's beautiful or good or moving. And anyone who doesn't feel that way, I don't want around me, and I don't want them to be involved in it.
Keep it going! Keep it going!
If I were a rich man, all day long I'd bid. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard.